Richard, the Southern Engine. Written by TheBuriedTruck, told by New Controller 01. Henry's Bargain. It was summertime on the island of Sodor, and the Fat Controller's railway was busier than ever. There were more passengers, and on top of it all, the main line was undergoing an extensive overhaul. The bad winter weather kept forcing our repair schedule back, the Fat Controller had explained. I have no choice but to carry out the repairs during the busy season. Good gracious, sighed Duck in the sheds that night. As soon as I arrive with one train, I leave with another. Pah, said Gordon. Wait until you've had a taste of mainline work, little Westerners. We're the ones who should be complaining. You won't find me complaining, smiled Oliver. I'm grateful. Better to be busy with passengers than on the run from diesels. You know, said Henry, I was in danger of being sent away once. I'm glad the Fat Controller's in charge. No one else would have given me a chance like that. However, Oliver said grimly, he can't save every engine, much as I wish he could. Soon the engines went to sleep, all except Henry, who couldn't help but think about what Oliver had said. Henry's job was to help inspect the mainline bridges. As they were being mended, he had to take the old parts to the other railway. A diesel would then take them to the steelworks to be melted down. It was hard work, but Henry didn't mind. Usually, Henry would take only a few trucks of broken beams, but when he picked up his load that day, an entire bridge section was waiting for him. The whole thing's busted, grunted the workman. Surprised it didn't collapse before we arrived. We'll have to start from scratch now. Henry was glad the bridge hadn't collapsed. With a mighty heave, he set off along the main line. He arrived as usual at the other railway, but the diesel was nowhere to be seen. Bother, he thought. If that diesel doesn't get here soon, I'm going to be late. Just then a loud growl filled the air. Henry winced as the diesel slowly pulled up alongside. For engines of the future, said Henry, you sure are slow. It's not my fault, fumed the diesel. It's that rusty old kettle. Henry looked over. A big, rusty scrap engine stood on the diesel's train. Goodness me, gasped Henry. What happened to him? Given up for scrap, ages ago, said the diesel. Finally got orders to take him down the breaker's yard. The diesel sighed. Poor engine. He always hoped to get saved too. Then Henry remembered his conversation with Oliver. Maybe he still can be, he beamed. Tell you what, I'll take him on my return train. I'm sure we can find a home for him. The diesel wasn't sure. The steelworks is expecting a steam engine today. You won't get four before they catch load of their payload's gone missing. But Henry had another idea. What if I trade you this corroded old bridge section for him? The diesel looked back at the flatbed and smiled. They'll be more than happy with that. You've got a deal. Henry was pleased. Soon the two engines had traded their loads and parted ways. It was hard work to carry the old engine, but Henry struggled on. Suddenly he heard a voice. Excuse me, you're not going to turn me into a bridge, are you? Henry chuckled. Not if I can help it. Oh, continued the engine. That's a relief then. But why did you rescue me? We can't save every engine, Henry replied, but we can certainly try. At last they stopped at the goods yard. Henry let out a sigh of relief. You'll be safe here until I can speak with the Fat Controller, Henry smiled. Well, here I am. The 2 engines jumped. The Fat Controller walked towards them. A bit difficult to sneak about with a load like that, wouldn't you say, Henry? Henry blushed. I'm sorry, sir. Pardon me, sir, the engine interrupted, if I may. The Fat Controller paused and nodded. Your Henry's a true hero. I was bound for the steelworks today. If he hadn't come along, I might have been turned into a bridge. He shuddered. There was silence. I understand if you can't afford to keep me, sir, the engine continued. But even if I could have somewhere to stay hidden, just until I find a new home... We cannot allow that, said the Fat Controller bluntly. The engines were upset. Henry will tell you, he continued, that no engine on this railway is a layabout, and that includes you. The engine beamed. Do you mean it, sir? Most certainly, smiled the Fat Controller. You're just the sort of engine I need to help on the main line. Henry, he said, turning to the green engine, you'll be taking, what did you say your name was? Richard, sir, smiled the engine, at your service. Very good, Richard. Henry, you'll be taking Richard here to the works. We've no time to lose. He turned and walked back to his office to make the arrangements. The 2 engines looked at each other and smiled. For an engine who seemed near the end, Richard's life was only just beginning.